Okay, so this is the Daily Kenji, and he's talking about how he's struggling to not be jealous and doing whatever he can to not compare himself to others. So let's get right to it. And let me see, do I have the.
Hello
Okay,
everyone,
there
this
we
is
go.
Kenji again. Nice to see you all. Yeah, in this video, I'm actually going to talk about feeling jealous of my friends and other people, especially when it comes to other people having much more prestigious, lucrative jobs um, than mine, right? Um, I think I've always been struggling with this ever since I dropped out of school. And I don't think it really helped that I went to one of the best schools um, in the country, right? A lot of
I mean, it is a hell of an accomplishment to even get into UC Berkeley. So, yeah.
friends I used to know, a lot of people I used to know, yeah, a lot of them became quite successful after they had graduated, right? Some of them became a doctor, some of them became a lawyer, some of them engineers, some of them dentists, pharmacists, statisticians. Just the list goes on and on, right? I remember after I had dropped out and a few years passed by, I started to check on like people's Facebook, and I could see like their profile photos and photos on their page. Some people holding their like, I guess, acceptance letter or a graduation letter from a med school or dental school. And I remember thinking to myself, man, like what am I doing with my life? I'm just merely sitting here, pretty much not even having a job, just sitting at home, just doing nothing productive. And while all my friends and people I used to know, I used to go to school together, and I supposedly had as bright of a future as theirs, right? Mm, but I seemed like the only one that fell off the train. Mm, yeah, it was not a very pleasant feeling. And I think I slowly started to, um, or my friendships with those friends started to gradually just fade away, right?
I mean, I think what it is like, you're hanging around with a bunch of, you know, guys and girls who are just about around his intelligence level. I mean, the fact that he was able to get into UC Berkeley is like I said, it's a hell of an accomplishment. And when he dropped out, it almost felt like he looked like a letdown to them, kind of thing. I mean, I could be wrong, but it just feels like that. And then when you get to 38 years old, almost having no money, and it's pretty much like you're starting from scratch because you got into a gambling addiction and whatnot. You tend to get looked down upon. You don't you get like you're looked at like, oh my god, look at this guy, he sucks. It's horrible.
Because I think
and
I
I,
just
and
felt too
and his friends are more likely like those overachievers.
insecure around them. I felt too inferior. I felt too self-conscious around them every time I would hang out with them. I mean, how could I not, right? I was unemployed. I was a college dropout. While all these people, they had a great future going forward. Um, I knew that comparing myself to my friends and how well they were doing didn't really help. But it really yeah, it didn't really. I knew that it didn't really help that I was comparing myself. But I mean, logically, it made sense that it's not healthy for me to compare myself to others.
I
But
mean, yeah, we all know, everybody, including their dogs, their cats, and their pet roosters, know that comparing yourself to others is not the way to go. It's like what they say, the thief of joy. We all know that, but everybody just seems to be programmed to be doing that. You know, like what that's why we compare ourselves, so that we don't we don't want to look. We're trying to not look bad in front of others, because there's people out there who tend to like look down on you when you don't have certain things done at a certain age. Like for this guy, he's living at home, depending on his, well, almost depending on his parents, and he's working at a job that's not, he doesn't get paid that much, and on top of that too, he's pretty much almost broke. So
Emotionally, I just could not help myself but to compare myself to them. Yeah, I mean, back in high school, I was considered one of the smartest kids or students
yeah,
in my class. But
yeah. See,
why was it that, yeah, I could not even finish the school and get my degree, right? And even those friends that I went to high school together, I remember some of them, I actually used to help out with their homework, right? Because, yeah, they always ask for help whenever they got stuck in a problem, math, whether it be math problem or problem for chemistry class. Yeah, I was the person they would turn to, right, for help, saying how, oh, Kenji is like the smartest person in our school, right? Like, just ask Kenji. And all these people, like a lot of them that I used to actually, yeah, help out whenever they get stuck in some of the problems, they actually would go to all these like good school. They would go to pharmacy school, dental school,
oh
medical
man,
school, and yeah, I just could not make sense out of it.
it's just
I mean, apparently, at least like based on the high school track record, right? I'm supposed to be the one that is smarter than them, right? So if they had made it, why can't I?
it
Why
must be
couldn't
the
I do
mental
it
health
myself?
issues. That's the hard part.
I mean, after all, maybe could it have been possible that I am not as smart as I thought I was, right?
It really does hurt, just looking at it though. You were once like the top, what was it, one of the top kids in the school, and then you end up being on the bottom of the barrel when it comes to adulthood. It really, really does hurt so much. I mean, of course, you would have that tendency to want to compare yourself to others.
Yeah.
See the
You know, I
pain in his
for
face,
so many
man.
years in
That
my 20s, I
hurts.
battle with that thought, just constantly asking myself, damn, like what's
It's
wrong
a
with me? Like,
real insult
why is
to
it that
be
all these people
thinking
that
about it.
were supposedly like not as smart as me were making such a huge progress in their life, why I cannot do that? It did not make any sense, right? You know, I have this friend, this Korean friend. I still
Again, I mean, it's more likely pertain to his mental health issues, is what it is. Like when you have like mental health issues, no matter how smart or strong you are, you're not really gonna. I mean, you're gonna have trouble socializing, and when you can't really socialize or put yourself out there, it's gonna be very difficult to be successful. I mean, just look at Donnelly. Like, look at the guy. He's already he's smart. He has the he has the brains. He has the strength, but his life sucks. His finances are garbage. His social life isn't that good, and he's pretty much at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to being an adult.
am very close to, and we're
Horrible.
very close. And
And he's
he's
a
now
pretty
working as a
talented guy
mechanical
too.
engineer. And yeah, he also I used to help him out too with his math homework and other classes. And yeah, and he himself told me that, hey Kenji, like you're really smart back in high school. Like what happened to you, right?
Oh God,
Yeah, like what
man.
happened to me?
Oh
What
my
happened to me after high school?
goodness.
Did my intelligence suddenly drop? Right?
That's quite insult. That not quite. That is very
Yeah.
insulting.
I mean, right now I'm working a job that's probably um yeah, least impressive, right? It's not an engineering job. It's not an engineer or doctor job. Um, least prestigious job I have, probably. um, I'm not necessarily ashamed of it though, of my job. That's one thing though. You know, I think I did a lot of work in my 20s, and I've gone through a lot of struggles and a lot of introspections, right? To at least like come to a state where I am okay with holding a job that is not prestigious, right? So I'm okay with it, but still sometimes I do wonder, what it might have been if had I been able to, or yeah, had I been not drop out of school and went on to a career, much more lucrative career like becoming a doctor or dentist, right? I don't know. Um, yeah, and yeah, I mean this friend, yeah, I just mentioned, he even has a house in San Diego, right? And I'm like, sometimes I get jealous, but it's not like jealousy, like, oh man, like I wish him, I wish him like bad or anything like that. But like, oh, like I wish I had been as
You
financially
just
successful.
it's more on the lines of like I wish I could have caught up with these guys kind of thing, you know? That sort of thing. Of course, you don't mean it like I wish bad, you know. It's just when you're way behind, then it makes you feel so inferior. You
As
don't want
he
to
is,
be around
right?
others.
I wish I had not been financially struggling as he is. I wish I had not had so many issues um, in my 20s as he did. Not right. Mm, yeah, and I go to yeah, I go to this dentist. It's just like a dental office where there's like a couple of um, dentists there, and yeah, one of the dentists, she's a female dentist, and she looks really, really young. I think like at most she's probably like in her early 30s or late 20s, right? And every time I look at her, it's like I'm thinking like, oh dang, she's cute. I mean, like, oh dang, like she's. I
Oh
wish
man.
maybe that's a Freudian slip. Yeah, she is cute, by the way. She's really cute.
Yeah,
Anyways,
see, that's the instinct. See, that's the instincts of somebody who's like who just is pretty inexperienced with the with women. You know, that's what. But
what was I going with this? Oh yeah, she's yeah. Like when I see her, I'm thinking to myself, dang, like I wish I was able to, or yeah, I wish I mm, was able to how do you say it? I wish I could have had yeah gone to made it to a dental school and became a dentist and make lots of money, right? Yeah, I think that, and yeah, I do feel a sense of jealousy in that, right? Like when I see her, like that, like I wish I had a life, right? She must be making good money, a lot of money.
I mean,
Yeah,
see, that's the
but
thing that really got to him though. Like he hung around with so many smart guys and girls. I mean, you know, it's great and all. I mean, of course, you learn from them. You learn from them, but when when you get to adulthood and you struggle so heavily, you end up being the one to fall so behind, and then you that's when you really let the comparison get to you.
you know, I still feel grateful for having a job, especially in this economy, right? Um, yeah, I still feel grateful for being able to at least, even if not a lot, still being able to make enough money to sustain myself, to not have to ask for money from my parents or from my siblings, right? Um, but yeah, sometimes I do have these thoughts that just pop up randomly when I see people that appear to have it better than me, I guess. Yeah. So I think it's finding the balance, right? I feel like our brain is just wired in a way such that we are supposed to compare ourselves to others because
Yeah,
that way
it's
it
true.
can really motivate us and push us to improve ourselves, right?
I mean, it is true. It's so easy to do that, and I mean, I seen in the comments section of his somebody said comparison is the thief of joy. Well, yeah, like I said, it's true, but what can you really do? I mean, you like for example, you know, you're a doctorate student, and then you're struggling to keep up with the whole class. You're struggling to keep up with your peers. You know, that person isn't just gonna think, well, you know, at least I'm not a high school dropout, or at least I don't have below 80 IQ or what. You know, he's not going to, because he's in that playing field. He's dealing with the people around him. You know, I know people will say things like, well, at least you're not in a third world country. Well, yeah, you're thankful, it's true that you're not, and you're not starving or what, but you know, again, that's a completely different playing field. We're playing in this one. We're playing over here. And another example, you know, before I go ramble on and on about this, is like, you know, that the NFL, like you have a guy who's making pretty, like several hundreds of thousands, if not a million, $2 million just playing, and he's like one of the worst out of everybody in the NFL. You think he's gonna say, "Oh well, at least I'm not as bad as an average high school football player or what?" No, he's not gonna think that. He sucks among everybody else, and he's not getting recognized, and the coach keeps benching him. That's just what, because his playing field is mainly the NFL. He's not like comparing. He's not dealing with. He's not thinking about like high school football players or what. His competition is the NFL, and when you're not living up to it, you're gonna feel like absolute shit. So that's just
But
that's
I think it
just
can really
that.
be a double-edged sword, right? Because sometimes people, including myself, people can really fall into this trap of constant comparison and falling into this state of depression and self-hating and just misery, right? And not really being able to appreciate what they already have, right? And just constantly just beating themselves over and over for what they don't have, because when they see other people and when we see other people what we don't have, we naturally feel like we feel inferior or we feel insecure or jealous, right? But yeah, I think we can still use that whenever we find ourselves comparing ourselves to other people. We can remind ourselves that like you don't really know their full story, right? It may look very glamorous on the outside. Their jobs may look, dentist job or doctor or lawyer. Their jobs may look very glamorous on the outside, on the surface, but you really don't know what's going on, like in their life. They may hate their job with guts,
Yeah, it's
right?
true.
And
I
yeah, I've
mean,
actually seen some posts online, like on Reddit, how yeah, some of these people that hold these really glamorous jobs still hating their life, still hating their jobs, and wishing they actually had chosen a different career, right?
they do. There are stories of doctors, dentists, lawyers, and all that. They make very, very, very prestigious amounts of money, but they're still broke slash negative. I'm talking about in the hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, like negative net worth. Like they're already in their 30s and 40s and like negative 100,000, 200,000 plus in net worth. So yeah.
At least right now, like for me, I actually enjoy my job. I don't hate it, and I'm actually really interested in
Well, that's good to
um,
hear.
my field, like and the things that I do in my job. Yeah, so I think I definitely am fortunate to have that, right? Yeah, like I don't really hate myself for going to work every day. Actually, kind of enjoy. I mean, there's some aspects I hate, but I think it's just for every job, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it's just about reminding myself that yeah, like having a um, balanced view on life is probably what I need whenever I feel this sense of jealousy and feeling of insecurity when I find myself comparing to others and other people seeming to have it better than me, right? Well, anyways, again, thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one.
All right, so that's about it. I I mean, it really does suck the way he ended up. He was at the top of his game in his high school and early college years, his early college days, and he just ends up falling all the way down to the bottom, pretty much like nearly broke. I mean, I'm not sure if he has retirement or any other investments, but I would just assume that he's almost broke because of that whole gambling addiction. I mean, when you have that gambling addiction problem, then it's usually you have mental health issues. You just want to go gamble and do whatever it is you want to try to gain that self gratification kind of thing, and not feel bad about yourself. So yeah, I mean, this guy, I do see him finding success with his life though. I mean, he may be 38 and looking like he's starting over from almost nothing, but I do see him making success out of himself though, in the next few years. Like he'll get into his 40s. Like typically when I see somebody online, I would think like, oh man, I doubt, I wish for him the best, but I don't know if he's gonna make success out of himself in the next few years. But for him, for Daily Kenji, again, despite his despite being almost 40. I mean, being older, and being late in the game with making a comeback, I do see him making some significant progress with his life, though, and finding happiness for himself. So yeah, definitely, I'm rooting for this guy. And and his channel is definitely getting a lot of attention here. So I mean, he's been at it for not
Hello
even
again. This is Kenji here. Nice meeting you all again.
he's been at it
Yeah,
for
I
not
cannot
even a
believe I'm
month,
actually.
and already he has over 1,000 subs. So yeah, um again, I do hope that this guy, I do wish for him the best. I do see him succeeding. I really do. It's like